an AMI digital exclusive.
That sex show. Hi, Kain. It's so good to meet you.
Hi, Rachele. It's so good to be here with you. I'm excited to dive into this chat today.
Can you tell me a bit about yourself?
I am a mixed race, Afro and Indo-Caribbean, trans, genderqueer person who is neurodivergent and on the asexual spectrum. And I can get a little more specific. I'm autistic and ADHD.
How do you define your sexuality?
I'm on the asexual spectrum. I situate myself as someone who's demisexual. I've kind of flip-flopped between using that because I don't really think there is a term that feels right for me.
So how would you define demisexual?
So demisexual is anyone who has the ability to experience sexual attraction once they form a strong emotional connection with another person.
I love that moment of, because I've experienced this too, where I was like thinking back to something I used to do and then being like, that wasn't straight behavior, or like, that wasn't this, but I guess it's this. Like, I kind of, I don't know, it's like treasure hunting.
And like, I don't know if you maybe relate to this, but there's that personal piece where you kind of look at that and you're like, okay, is this what this is? And you're doing your own research. But then the moment I think where the light bulb started to really go off was when I was in community, when I was with kin or my friends or in social settings, and you really need to see what people mirror back or what people relate to. So when I would say certain things on the fly, like, yeah, I just don't feel like I'm into like hookups, or I just, when I go out, I'm not really like looking for someone to potentially sleep with by the end of the night like everybody else was around me. And then having someone be like, oh my God, same. Like, I'm just so annoyed that people keep touching me, or like, I don't even want to be hit on. And I would be like, wait, there's more of us out here. And then that was kind of where I was like, okay, there's something to look into here. The more people would agree with me or relate to things or even throw things out that I didn't realize I was doing, like touch, like, oh, I don't like when people try to flirt with me by touching me. And I was like, why not? Because like it's cute to be wanted. It's like nice to be wanted, but not in that way. And I realized that that was a consistent thing for me. So maybe that's similar for you.
I guess because I'm a sex educator, I was always like, well, I'm obsessed with sex. But from this very like theoretical standpoint, like I'm always talking about it. I think butts are great and hilarious and whatever. But I also like, how often am I feeling this way myself? And so it took someone else being like, do you think maybe that this is a thing in comparison to like what I'm feeling? And I was like, I never thought about that before. So what was your sort of process of figuring this out? Was it immediate? Was there a long time? How did that go?
I feel like every chapter of my life has been like a new coming out experience or a new arrival for me. When I came to demisexuality, that one really stood out to me because I realized that like I have felt sexual attraction at different points in my life, but it's definitely not as frequent as allosexual people who identify as having frequent or regular sexual attraction to other people.
I want to delve deeper a little bit into other ways that like your experience with disability has impacted your experience with your sexuality or even with your gender.
Oftentimes when I hear this question, I think about what I've lost or what I've been cut off from, especially being demisexual and neurodivergent. And I notice in a dating context, it can really turn some people off when they don't understand how to interact with you beyond physical intimacy, or when that's not necessarily like an immediate goal on the table. I think in terms of tying in gender, because I'm Black and brown, people assume that I'm going to be hypersexual without me having to really say anything. Because I do like to, put some effort into my appearance. And I have it like, the quintessential queer haircut, which is like the undercut, and then that's it, So people tend to read that as like, you're definitely looking for someone to sleep with. Like, you're definitely into hookups. I have this panic that I feel immediately when I know I have to step into a space where a lot of queer people or younger people are around me in general, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm not going to be able to give you what you want, and I know that you think I'm going to want to give you what I want, and it's just frustrating to constantly navigate that.
Especially lately, I've been really frustrated by those expectations, especially like within queer communities of like what is considered hot and what is considered like the, I don't know, gold star of existence, and yeah, like just assumptions about what, like how someone's going to behave or act just because of what they look like. It never brings anything good. It only ever is bad.
Because it's pushing people to try to fit into one stream of accessing community. And I know we both know that when you live at multiple intersections, especially disability and especially gender, and then adding race onto that and everything else that we bring into it, it's like when we're in community spaces, we're kind of just like, I want to be seen, I want to be affirmed, I want to be loved on, I want to feel, included in community. And oftentimes I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm fighting constantly, even though I'm there and I'm, music's playing or like people are chatting and everyone's having a good time. But I'm like, I feel so alone, even though I'm surrounded by people, because I know I can't just be 100% myself unless I'm around people I've already vetted.
So, what do you see as being like the unique challenges that comes with having a disability and being asexual?
I think we have a long way to go when it comes to asexual, disabled representation. I can't even sit here and think about someone who's Black and talks about asexuality and is neurodivergent as well. Like, I really can't count on one hand how many people I know who speak from that lens. If we had more representation and had more people speaking about this openly, I think that would change. That would start to shift things a little bit more.
What do you see as the benefits of, existing in this space, of having a disability, being on the A spectrum, and what do you want people to know is amazing about this?
Oh, there's so much. I think like even this, like being able to speak to someone else so freely and continuing to meet other people that because I'm vocal about it on my platform, that they're like, now I feel comfortable coming out, or now I feel comfortable like kind of looking for, what is it called? Discord groups where people are talking about their experiences. We really need our people around us. And I think that's been the thing that's been so exciting, to be validated through other people. And like now I just feel like there's a lot of love around me. There are people that are going to love me regardless of like how much access I give them to my body, whether or not I even want to do that.
Oh, what a good point. I love that moment of like, I can exist the way that I'm supposed to exist and not the way that someone else has told me to. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. It was so fun.
Well, thank you so much for even diving into this with me.
Stream more AMI original content at AMI.ca.